Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of ILLflips. I'm Jordan by Brown from ILLstrips. So this is my first video of the year. I wanted to go through a box of comics that I received from Mycomicshop.com. They are an online comic inventory that has just thousands of back issues and everything you can really think of. They usually might have it. So about once or twice a year I'll make an order. Around Thanksgiving they do a sale. I think it's 25% discount on most books, so sometimes I try and wait out for that, and that's what I did this year. And come Thanksgiving, which is also around the time of my birthday, grabbed an order of comics. I think there's maybe 52 books or something. So, and it's just it's a nice smattering of all sorts. There's some Marvel stuff, DC stuff, Gold Key, Caliber Press, Eclipse, Charlton comics, just a real mix of stuff. So I'm gonna go through them. Might take 2 videos, I'm not sure, we'll see how this goes, but I'm just gonna set a few of these aside and then we can crack into this middle pile first, I think. And the way I pick these comics is I don't know, I'll just see stuff either on Instagram over the year or on other comic book YouTube channels, friends' Instagram pages. Might just see something, I'll add it to my cart on mycomicshop.com, and then yeah, I mean, the thing about them also is they don't have a huge amount of everything, so if it goes, it goes. But it's kind of part of the fun, you never know what you might end up with in the end. But I'm pretty happy with the mix of stuff from this order. So starting with Werewolf by Night, number 9. Where is this from? 1973. I'm a bit of a sucker for a cross section in comics, and I think I always have been. It's kind of a fun thing when you're a kid and you see like a cross section of something in either a storybook or maybe a comic or whatever. So I like that, and I like adding cross sections into my comics too. So I saw this guy, the thriller, I guess, this year's most frightening thriller. This red cloaked dude, red masked dude, and a werewolf, and he was dragging the werewolf underneath through the manhole down to the sewers. Tom Sutton is the artist, Jerry Conway is the scripter, Len Wein is special consultant, Roy Thomas editor, and Jack Russell narrator. Okay. So obviously a werewolf comic. Pretty fun from the start. Trying to see what the name of this red hooded dude is. I don't have any other Werewolf by Night comics, but I thought this would be a good place to start. Actually, a few of the books I picked up do have werewolves in them, so might be a little bit of a theme throughout this video. Here's your cross section again from the cover. I might just move the camera a little bit closer. That's better. Give you guys a better view. Sorry. You can see he's lifting up that manhole cover and then dragging him down, which is kind of cool. All those 70s Marvel Bronze Age comics are always pretty enjoyable to look through. The art's always good. They're kind of a bit weirder, and they kind of let more artists just have a bit of fun on the page, I think. The storytelling is a bit wackier. 70s is just a all-around good time for movies, comics, music, art in general. Some good colouring on these pages. You get all these full magenta colours, characters, greens, blues. Good way of defining your character, or just blocking out colour and shapes on the page for probably clearer reading. Some oranges here too, and some good yellows up top. Yeah, I like how this is coloured. some subterranean mutant creatures, kind of reptilian looking dudes. And I suppose as a maker of comics, we're trying to really succeed out of getting a box of stuff like this is just to, I don't know, maybe see if there's some stuff that inspires your own work that you can bring into your own craft. Stuff like color, or maybe some line work, maybe an interesting panel composition. This is actually a book I'd like to track down. It's expensive though. Brother Voodoo. It's got a John Romita cover, but I've never seen the interior art. It's not John Romita on the interior. I think it's usually about $100 though to start. Everything I try and get in these little boxes are generally, you know, nothing over $8 a comic, $10 depending. Here's a gold key issue of Tarzan. Attacked by the horribs, reptiles in human shape. $1968. And I think I saw this on one of maybe the Coates brothers Instagrams. They're big into they got their Dino Beasts comic series. So there's a lot of dinosaur barbarian stuff, so this would be up their alley. Check out their work. And I'm also a bit of a sucker for reptilian creatures. I think they're always a fun motif in comics and movies and stuff like that. It's a good blimp. These are just fun adventure stories. But I don't have any Tarzan gold keys, so I thought I'd grab one. These cool kind of salamander or Gila monster type horse. They put their saddles strapped to them. Here's Tarzan chucking a few reptilians around the place. This blimp seems to be a reoccurring motif between these two stories. Looks good though, between those two Viking ships. Weirdly out of place. Yeah, I haven't read any of these yet, so just going off what I see on the page. Deadman, Caliber Press. This is by the same artist who did, is that a signature? John Howard, who did Horny Biker Sluts, which is one of the best titles in comics ever. This maybe is his prior work. It looks a bit cruder than the Horny Biker Slut stuff, because that's actually pretty well drawn. I think there might be a little bit of it in the back. That's more his style there. John Howard. And this is Horny Biker Sluts, which it's a real sexy comic, and it's available now. Okay, so maybe it came out around the same time. This just looks a little bit more dashed out or something than, maybe it's something he did when he was younger, or maybe he just grew as an artist pretty fast. But it's a black and white comic, newsprint, interesting title. I have a few of the Horny Biker Sluts comics, why not? Kind of an interesting character design too. It's more cartoony than his Biker Slut stuff. The Biker Slut stuff's pretty full on. yeah, this stuff, it's got more of this, it's just more careful line work. All these parallel lines for shading. So here you have Deadman. These two, both Jack Kirby. Marvel double feature, Captain America and Iron Man. I think they're both Jack Kirby from around. This one definitely is. And this is a MODOK story, so that's why I wanted to grab this. MODOK is one of the most bizarre character designs in the entire Marvel universe, and I think Jack Kirby does the best job of them. I'm pretty sure he was the original artist, but only Jack Kirby can really come up with something like that with this giant-headed supervillain. Kirby's always really good at Captain America stories. Here's MODOK actually falling out of his contraption, like a big fetus or something. And then there's a Archie Goodwin and Gene Colan Iron Man back up. Yeah, I picked that one up for the MODOK. And this is from 1976. And there's a Red Skull story. And actually, sorry, no, this is pencils by Gil Kane, and then inked by Joe Sinnott. Not quite as fun. I actually think I thought this one was Kirby when I bought it. Still a bit of crack, but there's just something about Jack Kirby doing superhero comics that there's a lot more weirdness and bombast to them for little dashed out stories like this. I think that's probably the same team. Gene Colan. Quite like these shadows in the foreground, framing the characters. About Shotgun Mary by Antarctic Press, 97. I think I saw this on the Kayfabe channel at some point. I like the look of the art. Trying to see the names. Sometimes don't make it easy. Anyway. It's too much text there. But this kind of just some sort of exploitation, revenge type thing with this lady, Shotgun Mary, going after biker gangs. I like the color in it. Looks like it's painted. Maybe kind of a gouache. The cityscape is nicely done. That's a really cool panel there. Nice colours. This dock is nice. It sells a gloomy dock at night pretty well. Got some demons. Probably the era of Dust Till Dawn. Okay, story by Mickey Horvatich. Translation by Darko Makan, so it could be originally in a different language. Oh, it's Asad Ribic is doing the art. Nice. Okay, he did a couple of Marvel stuff that's really good. There's a Submariner one, there's a Silver Surfer one, and I think a Thor kind of Asgard thing. I remember reading those when I was a teenager. They were always cool. So that's some of Asad Ribic's early work. It's cool. This is a series called Night Streets. Arrow Comics, 5 issues. Black and white boom kind of stuff. 1986. I haven't read this. Seems to be some kind of cat villain at the center of it. That's about all I can tell from it. I haven't really looked at it that thoroughly. But it's a bit of fun. I like the covers. The covers look like they're kind of airbrushed and mixed medium. The art's fine. Some more Arrow titles. Are you aware of these? And here's your cats. This is recurring cat gangster. Probably won't bother going through all 5 of these. I'll show you the covers then. This one's cool. I'm looking at number 5 maybe. Just a quick little see where it ended up. Some good head wounds. It seems to get better actually, the art from start to finish. That cat seems to have gotten more jacked too. Yeah, it's cool. I think these are like a euro or a dollar each, so. Mob Rules Part 5. I'm not sure if it concludes with this issue or if they had hopes and dreams of going further. Night Streets. Next up is Mystery. Mystery's Thrilling Detective Adventure. Issue 1 to 3. From Eclipse Comics. Kind of just likes the look of, I think it's slightly espionage, slightly gangster kind of stuff. Thought the covers seem interesting. The character design is pretty bizarre too. She's got this kind of big fringe with a coiling side piece. Art's pretty stiff and a little lifeless, but I think it's kind of part of the charm of it. Max Collins and Terry Beatty. Really weird hairstyle. It's fine. Sometimes you just get these things. Just want to check it out and see what's inside. Can be hit and miss when you do that. But they have these weird Frank Miller famous detective pinups in each of these. So this is the first one from Mickey Spillane's Mike Hammer. This is from 87, I think. 83, sorry. So it's that Frank Miller Ronin era, which is kind of weird to see it applied to a detective pinup. It's that strange kind of gapped cross-hatching that's, I don't know, it's one of the weirder aspects of his art in Ronin. Maybe he was trying some things out there. But each issue has one of those, so we can see that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of just talking heads mostly in these. Some kind of Dick Tracy character here. And then this issue introduces this character called Scythe. This hair is just so weird. It always kind of, I don't know if I like it. I guess she's a recognizable character though. This is a different artist. Alice Goodson and inked by Bruce Miller. Written by Dean Mullaney. So sorry, they're introducing kind of a backup feature character in these. And here's your Frank Miller pinup. Raymond Chandler's Philip Marlowe. I think the background's pretty cool. This sort of duo shade, smoky faces. With silhouettes in the middle, and then you got your crime noir style blinds there. Yeah, they're fine. Don't like that cover. Let's skip straight to the Frank Miller pin up in the middle, the Continental Op. I actually quite like these. So yeah, this is more Sin City vibes. Got the city burning and then all these guns drawn in silhouette. This Scythe story actually looks better than the Miss Trees story. Anyway. Flaming Carrot, number 9. Don't think I have any Flaming Carrot comics. I kind of like that cover. Just wanted to have a look through one. The champagne of comic books. One of the stranger character designs in comics for sure. To be honest, not really too interested in this. The art doesn't do a huge amount for me, but I do like the idea of the character, and this flaming carrot with kind of webbed scuba feet is weird enough just to at least grab an issue to see what it's like, and maybe it reads well. As I said, I like that cover. All your carrots going down the side. Got some magazines here. An issue of Scary Monsters magazine, The Abominable Snowman there in the front. I like the cover for starters on this. Got those cool blues, This horror host dude is interesting looking too. Terry Beatty doing this cover. And sometimes I buy horror film magazines. And I didn't have any of these ones, so thought I'd have a look. The best ones are usually the Japanese ones, even if they're in Japanese. They just have amazing photographs and a lot of prop design and prosthetics. Usually featured throughout, so I have a couple of those. I might do an episode on them at some point. Yeah, this is the stuff you want really in these magazines. The making of these creatures. I like this little guy though. But yeah, I like that cover. Why not? Star-studded. This is one that's kind of been in my cart or want list for a while. Always liked the cover, and it was at a reduced price, so I thought I'd get it. Just really weird. It looks like almost a toy Tyrannosaurus Rex. There's something awkward about it, but I also like it for that reason. And the popping red sky is great. Also juxtaposed with this title treatment. Alan Weiss. I'm pretty sure this is an anthology of sorts. Seems to be just a few different stories in here. Probably nothing to do with the cover. But I'll sometimes do that. I will buy things if I like the covers. I'll do it occasionally with records, and I'll do it with comics or sci-fi paperback books too. And this actually feels pretty good. It's a nice object. There's this kind of uncoated paper on the cover, and it's got a little bit of weight to the paper. Here's another story. Roy Thomas script, Sam Granger art. Seems to be all brush throughout these two stories. Not a huge amount of blacks on the page though. And there's some turn the page for a different reading. This is weird. You've got this sort of social justice movement TV looking things here, and then some sort of futuristic comic strip beside it. Reagan lashes out at barbaric students. It's like segregation. I don't know what's going on there, to be honest. This must be some kind of riots from the 80s. thought it was a 60s stamp for a sec, but not with the rig in there. Then you get another Al Weiss story at the end, this sort of serpent dude. It's a weird magazine. Interesting back cover. This zebra creature, it's kind of cool. So there you have it, star-studded. And we have a Swamp Thing. I think I also might have seen this one on the Kayfabe channel at some point. I really like the look of the art. It's got John Tollivan and Alan Moore. But as far as I remember, like if you like, oh, this art is pretty fantastic. Beautiful details. John Tollivan is really good at creating these kind of cosmic, organic looking backgrounds and creature designs. Just a lot of interesting stuff to look at on the page. All this vegetation is great. And then Batman shows up. Just a lot of interesting techniques used to sell different light sources or materials, tools, textures. Glowing red eyes in the middle of an in shadow Swamp Thing. And Batman's Batmobile kind of looks like an armadillo here, isn't it? But Swamp Thing has claimed the city, and you get this giant kaiju type of Swamp Thing, which is actually what sold me the comic, I think, when I saw it. I thought that was pretty badass. Great panel layouts here too. That's the kind of stuff that when I see that, I'd like to incorporate into my own work. More interesting panel compositions. Really nice. And I do think I remember on the Kayfabe channel them discussing these circle template panel borders, which are all done by hand and do look very tricky to achieve in any sort of competent way. A lot of circles and circles. It'd be fine if they were just black outlines, but they're rings, so that's pretty impressive. Like that little panel there with just the bombs dropping, napalm. And then this here. Yeah, this is a good one. Like even the color holds there for the blacks really sells a sense of urgency. There's a bomb about to go off. That's a good one. And these three weird Batman stories. It's a three-parter. Got these Dick Sprang covers. Wildest looking Batman you'll see in DC Comics. And if I remember correctly, the story here is just that there's... I haven't read these, and I think I will because they do look pretty cool. But there's a guy writing a comic within the comic about basically Batman coming out of hell or something along those lines. But the art is really cool. It kind of reminds me of Nemesis the Warlock or one of those. It's got a bit of a Jean Day feel too, or kind of, but more noodly details. But you know the motif sort of in this, there's a bit of ink left over from the corresponding advertisement on this. And these panel borders here signify that it's the comic you're reading within the comic. And then you can see the artist busy at work here, getting his pages out. And there's the actual, that's the same cover there, and Batman, Bruce Wayne is reading it. So Alfred has discovered this. And it's an unauthorized story of Batman, and it's not depicting Batman in the best light. He's kind of a demon, basically. This is pretty cool to see, though. His roughs as a full page. You can see his fingers there, his thumbs, looking at his work, getting his next issue ready. It's a cool idea. And as I said, there's 3 issues of that. The covers are great. I can't really remember how it finishes out, but here's more of the comic. This is kind of what you're in it for anyway. It's just these comic pages within comics. Because the art style is completely different on these, which is interesting. There may even be 2 artists, I can't remember. So your pencilers, yeah, so there's actually 3 artists involved. 2 pencilers, Mike McKeown, Flint Henry, and then Jose Marzan is the inker, and John Ostrander is the writer. Yeah. That's a better looking Batmobile than that armadillo looking thing in the last comic we looked at. Got a bit of a Todd McFarlane look. The comic pages, interior stuff. I like those backgrounds there with all the light diodes, screens. And here's the concluded edition. Guess that's meant to be Bruce Wayne. Bitter Victory. You wouldn't really expect this from a Batman comic. So it's just interesting to see this weird treatment of DC's biggest character. Catwoman. Bit of a different take on her. It's pretty cool. So yeah, you get the idea. Yeah, I'm going to set that one aside to read. It looks nice. Interesting looking. Here's another Batman story by Jamie Delano and John Bolton art. Well, it's a Man-Bat story. There's 3 of these as well. Really nice John Bolton art. Probably a pretty cool artist to be doing Man-Bat. The art in this is wild. A little glossy. And I think I saw this on Early Bird Comics Instagram feed. Also a good follow. He's got a store and he carries a lot of cool books. He posts a lot of good, interesting looking stuff, so he's worth a follow. Early Bird Comics. Got these Giger-esque looking creature fetus designs. And if you like Batman with big, tall, pointy horns, he certainly has them going on in this. That's a wild looking Gotham. This is another one I'm going to put aside. I'd like to read this one. It looks like a pretty interesting story. And just the art's sublime. Every page. Trying to do this in a way that's least reflective of the light. It's kind of glossy paper. Really amazing stuff. It's pretty scary looking too. Look at those pointy bat ears. Wow. This is part 3. Color is beautiful too. There he is. So there you have it, Batman Man-Bat 3-parter. And another Perfect Bound book, kind of a little bit similar to the one we just looked at, format-wise. This is Deadman by Mike Byrne, Kelly Jones, and Les Dorscheid. I picked this one up just for the Kelly Jones art. I think this was also maybe, I saw this on Early Bird Comics Instagram page. And his Deadman is great. Suits his style perfectly. These ribs and sinewy muscles. The art in this is really cool. I've been kind of interested in Kelly Jones recently just because of that new Dracula book that's coming out, which looks really nice actually. It's coloured by Jose Villarrubias, and they've used what looks to be sort of a giallo, like film giallo colour treatment, a bit like Suspiria almost. So I'm looking forward to that. It was a Kickstarter. I didn't back the Kickstarter, but probably should have. I think I meant to. It's probably still open, but you can always get these things when they come out anyway. I'm sure they'll do a wide release version. Look at that. Pretty distorted looking figures. Very cool. And there's 2 issues of this. It's called Love After Death, so I guess it's a love story. That's pretty nice. Circus poster. It kind of reminds me of A League of Extraordinary Gentlemen or something. His black and whites look always really nice though, overall. But the colour in this is pretty cool. It's not bad. You can really see his art underneath it all. I haven't read this, so I'm not sure what's going on, but I'm going to stick it aside with those Batman comics and have a read through these. His figure work is just so unique to him. It's bizarre. It's a whole other way of thinking. Got some good Alien comics too, I like those. So there you have Love After Death, Deadman. Probably wrap it up with this one. I think there's nearly up to 50 minutes, so obviously the cover on this bad boy is my main reason for picking it up, but it is a Preacher special, so it's probably a pretty good story. But check out that cover. I like the blue lighting on the side of his head and just this bizarre fucking mutated face. It's Richard Case doing the art though. Good title for a comic. Well, magazine. Also going to stick this one aside to read. I mean, I don't read all these books. Some of them are just interested in the art. You know, the stories probably aren't up to much, but the last little stack we went through there all look very readable and the stories look pretty intriguing. Jay and Silent Bob type looking characters. There's a little bit on the back by Steve Dillon. Cool. There's a whole other stack to go through. Give you a little idea of what's in there. There's some pretty interesting titles. So I'm going to save these for a second part. So thank you for watching this first part, and I'll catch you in part 2.